The Playroom podcast. Don't panic, it's organic.
Beautiful.
Let's do it.
Let me know. So you were on Vogue.
I was on Vogue.
You're like, let me get this out real quick.
Yeah, let me get that out real quick. I was on
You
Vogue.
ended up on Vogue this past fashion week.
Mhm.
How did that happen?
It was honestly because of like the homies. The designer put out the casting call on Instagram, and they were like, tag who you want to see. And I put it on my story, and I was like, yo, like if y'all love me, y'all will go tag me. And they went and tagged me. And then the casting director reached out to me, asked for, my information, did that exchange. And then it's funny because I actually didn't get hit back for a long minute. Like it was a moment where it was just silence. And I was like, bro, like I didn't get it. And I flew to New York under the impression like, oh, I already got it. Like it's had. So there was a small moment where I felt like, oh, like it's not had. And then he DMs me and he goes, oh, can you make it to a fitting? And realized that the show was in like 3 days. And he was like, oh, like, can you make it to a fitting like today? And I was like, fuck yeah, I can make it to the fitting. And I pull up. It was just hella like last minute, but it just like put all the life back into me and just made me so fucking happy, bro. And then I ended up walking it. But it was like crazy how the fuck it happened, bro.
I was actually at the show. So I watched you walk in this show.
Yeah.
And he was on Vogue 2 minutes after the show ended. Like,
Bro,
they are
that
so
shit is
fast.
Crazy. That shit is crazy. We're walking back to the fitting room, and Maxwell Vice is like, yeah, y'all check Vogue, and I'm like, what? Check Vogue, and lo and behold, I was right there, and I was like, yo, no fucking way. Like we had just stepped off the runway. Like it was insane.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it work so fast, but they do. Like they're absolutely on it when it comes to that. But for the people who don't know, with a lot of modeling, especially if it's like runway or like high fashion, what I've learned is everything is so last minute. You are on absolute standby. Like this business is not for the weak.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just had like a falling out with my agent right before that. So I kind of had a point to prove, and waiting for that DM was kind of like, damn, like I might not have a point to prove. Like there might just be no runway. And I walked for Ghetto Friends as well, and I'm super grateful for that. I walked it with Lalo, the homie, and that was so much fun. I'm super grateful for them. I was the only black model. I'm so happy to say that. Like I was the only black model on the fucking runway, and like that shit warmed my heart because I know that like a lot of people like were there like for castings and shit like that, and the fact that they like saw it in me was just like super fucking cool.
Yeah.
After that, I think it was after I walked that runway, the next day was when I got the DM from Conti, and they were like, oh, like pull up to the fitting and for Gypsy Sport. And it was that.
And what was the disconnect with your agent?
Have to take a deep breath. So this agent, not gonna say any names.
Right.
This agent reached out to me. I had followed the agency. This is a long time ago, and they followed me back one day. Was super stoked, and then one day they reached out and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna be in LA. We're gonna be doing meetings. Want you to pull up. Pull up there. Super cool, super cool." The lady's like, "Oh, love your look. Love your look. You're great. You're awesome. You know, just saying everything that I want to hear. You know what I mean?"
Right.
Gives me a non-exclusive, and that's the only reason why I signed the contract was because it was non-exclusive, so I could still do my own work without them. And so boom, signed the contract, and I shot test with the photographer that they, provided me, paid for that test,
How
right?
much was that?
Like I want to say 300.
Okay, not too bad.
Not too bad, but the gag is we're gonna hear the gag in a little bit. Paid 300 for this test shoot. It was cool photos. Shout out the photographer. And nothing after month 1, nothing after month 2. And I was like, okay, hit her up. Oh, stuff's been slow recently, but don't lose hope. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm not losing hope. And then Fashion Week runs around, and I'm like, yo, and realize this agency is based in New York. This agent is based in New York. So I'm like, okay, is there any strings you could pull anyway where you could find some castings for me to go to while I'm out in New York? And I told them, I was like, I'm going to New York on my own coin. I'm not asking you to send me to New York. I'm not asking you to help. Like, I'm going to New York. You just got to put shit in place for me. You know what I mean? oh, and verbatim, like not verbatim, but this is what they had to say. They said, "Oh, you're not good for runway. You're not gonna walk. They're not gonna want you. They don't want your look." And but realize this is a commercial agent.
Mhm.
This is a commercial agent. And when we had the meeting, I specified like, yo, I like doing runway, I like doing editorial, high fashion, like that's my vibe. I'm open to doing commercial and I'm not opposed to it, but I just feel like that's where my market is. Like for me, freelancing and doing this shit, I just feel like that's where my market is.
Absolutely.
And yeah, she just told me, "Yeah, you're not good for it. They're not gonna want you. How tall are you?" First of all, you're asking me how tall am I? You're my modeling agent. You should know that. But like, I don't know. So then I hung up on her and I was like, "Yo, I didn't even have the flight booked at that point." But then I went and booked the flight because I was like, "Oh, like I'm gonna show you. Like I'm gonna show
Yeah.
you." And what did I do?
Showed her.
Exactly what I had to do.
And for the people who don't know, like the difference between high fashion and commercial, when it comes to modeling, genuinely, as long as you have the confidence, like you can be a model.
Yeah.
There will be a pocket for you somewhere, whether
I
it's
100% agree.
print, whether it's commercial, whether it's runway. There's just different requirements for each one.
Mhm.
And when I look at you, I think high fashion. I think editorial. Like I feel like you have the body type, I would say that you're exactly what a high fashion brand would look for. And I would say that
And but
print would be or commercial would be like Target wasn't gonna hire you, hon.
like, bro, I was just getting ready to say that. Like, you cannot see me in a mall like for fucking Macy's. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like,
Maybe Hot Topic.
oh, Hot Topic for
Because
sure.
like
Like,
they
we
love
got that
the
in.
piercings,
Yeah,
they love
yeah.
edge, but it's so rare.
Yeah, no, like I'm aiming for like that pocket because I see it for myself as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I see, and it's because I model, so I can look at like myself versus other models. I can see like their pocket and their niche, and then it's like, okay, they're in that world because of these features or these looks. You know what I mean? They market
Absolutely.
themselves this way. Like I just commercial. I'm not opposed to it. I've done it before. You know what I mean? Like, and I can do it, but it's like, bro, like if we want to be real, commercial's not my and that's my stupid mistake for signing to a commercial agency. But
Yeah.
in the meeting, she told me like, "Yo, placement. Oh my god, that's what it was. Placement. It's a mother agency. It calls itself a mother agency. So I'm like, okay, you're gonna place me in other agencies that's gonna help me with development and runway and no, none of that."
Mm.
None of that. And then you yourself, you're an agent in New York. And then she was really popping her shit in that meeting, like, oh, I know so many people. I have so many connections in New York. Woo, woo, woo. So you couldn't find one. Every single casting I found for New York Fashion Week was off the muscle, like off
Yeah.
myself. Like, so what are you really here for? Like, and then I cut her off. Like I clipped her. Like, and that was that.
I have a theory. So, again, if you guys don't know, commercial and print modeling is where the bag is. That's where the bread is. And high fashion
100%.
modeling, you're not really going to make money. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And you really just have to climb up the ranks with everything. You know, it's really mainly like the top models getting these bags.
Mhm.
But for some people, it isn't about the bag sometimes. It's just like, I want to check this off of my list and this is what I want to do. And if your agent didn't want to work with someone who is getting a smaller check, like she should have specified that.
Exactly. And in hindsight's always 2020. And looking back in that interview, she was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make a lot of money together. We're gonna make a lot of money together." And I was like, it sounded good, but like I didn't realize like she was literally talking about like, oh, like you're doing commercial or nothing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was heartbreaking to hear her telling me like you're not good for it. Like just straight like because I'm like, you're my agent. Like you're the same one that was sitting here gassing me up to sign with you. And now you're telling me, I'm like, which one is it? Like, and
Yeah.
I just had to like use my own discernment and realize like this is not an opinion I should be feeding into. No matter how much power or connection that you have, like I should not allow you to sway what I know about myself. And I went and I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to prove a point to the agency, but to prove a point to myself. Like,
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, and I feel like in this business, like in the modeling game, you have to have confidence not just to be behind the camera, but to be able to tell these people who are in perceived positions of power,
Mhm.
like, no, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
Like this isn't it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm glad that you were somebody who like you weren't just sticking around to see if she could maybe connect you to this and that. It was just like, you're not doing it for me. I just showed you that I can do it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
good and I'm gone. And, you know, I feel like a lot of people in whichever industry they might be in,
Mhm.
they see people who are the gatekeepers of
Yeah.
certain positions and they're like, I'm going to abide by the rules. I don't want to make them mad. I'm just going to play their game. But like, you have to use discernment.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Bro, I vividly remember the phone call. The phone call after I walked the runway.
Mm-hmm.
I called her and I was in the subway with Lalo and we were heading back to the crib. And I called her and I was like, yo, I just wanted to call you and let you know I just walked for Gypsy Sport. And the first thing out of her mouth, you would think it would be, oh, congratulations. I'm so proud of you being my agent. Oh, congratulations. I'm so proud of you, boo. Boo. The first thing out this lady's mouth is, how much did they pay you? And I'm like, see, that right there is the reason why I don't think we can work together. Like moving forward, like because I'm worried about like things I get to stamp off my checklist. You know what I mean? I'm worried about like things I want to go do. Like the rate is gonna move up. You know what I mean? Once I get to build this portfolio and I get to show people more things, the rate is gonna move up regardless. So you looking at my first fashion week, the thing that I'm hoping for, like, oh, like congratulations, like I'm so proud of you. Nah, how much did they pay you? What? So you could take a percent? You can't get no percent because it's non-exclusive. I did it myself. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, Lindsay, like, I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep it real with you, ma'am. I'm done working with you. Like I'm done. And that was that. And then hung up. They hung up on me, actually. It was mad rude. It was mad rude, but
You didn't answer like how much you made, right?
no.
No.
What the fuck? No. You're not getting that out of me. No.
Yeah, facts.
But hung up and never ever spoke to them ever again.
There you go. And Fashion Week's gonna roll around again and you're gonna book more things. You have more experience under
Yes,
your belt.
exactly.
And all the better is gonna happen to you.
Mhm.
What would be some of your dream runways to walk?
Ooh, I was just telling the homie about this. D squared.
Oh,
D
D squared is
bro.
fire.
D squared. I'll walk D squared, Marc Jacobs,
Oh yes, I saw Marc Jacobs.
Rick Owens, of course.
Yes,
Rick Owens, of
okay,
course.
you're very Rick.
I'll say Prada.
Okay.
I'll say Prada. If Prada fucking with me, I'm fucking with Prada. Like,
I feel like I could see you for Louis as well.
oh, for sure. And then Louis been going like really like pro like black recently, right? Like
Okay.
he's been like having like more,
Right.
like colored like models and
Right.
shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, I would aim for Louis as well. Honestly, like just in general, like I love the high fashion editorial. Like I love campaigns. I love runway. Like, and like I said, don't get me wrong, commercials cool too. Like if Target call me, I'll pull up for Target. But like my eyes are set on like the dope runways with the cool set design and
Yeah.
the crazy ass fucking like dystopian designs. Like I live
Yes.
for all of that shit, bro.
And it's like when you're doing what you genuinely love, when you're in this like high vibrational state,
Mhm.
it's inevitable for the money to follow you. Everything that I've ever done, like I've compared it when I've done it for the money
Yeah.
and when I've done things that are just like for myself,
Mhm.
and the money always comes.
Yeah.
I believe in this energetic bank, right? And I feel like whatever you do in your daily life, you're either pouring into your energetic bank or you're taking out of it.
Mhm.
And this relates to the people that you hang out with, the jobs you take on, every choice that you make. And it's like, you can't go wrong doing the things that you genuinely enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And that's like the way I live my life. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, what am I gonna do that's gonna make me happy? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, fuck the compensation. And that's the thing. Like, it's I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I haven't like I know that there's people that's like made a hard line where they're like, I don't work for free. Like, I don't work for free. You have to pay me. But for me, it's like, if you're the homie and like you come to me with like a cool idea, like I'm not about to like that I genuinely enjoy. Like, I'm not about to charge you just because I know you like I can. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if I'm like in on it and I think it would like help my portfolio just as much as yours, like why would I not like just make it a collaboration? You know what I mean? And like you have to have that
Exactly.
discernment to tell like when to do that versus when to charge people. But like I feel like it's really crazy when people are like, oh, like there's no free work done. There's no free work. Like it's like, bro, like come on, like
Yeah,
there is.
chill
There-
out.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there
chill
definitely
out.
is. You know what I mean?
And
There's
that's
conditions. You know what I mean? to it.
yes. And I think that's why even just building the proper friend group is so
Exactly.
important. I recently have been hearing like some stories from some friends that I have where there's like someone in the group that like wants to use all of what they have,
Yeah.
and they pose it in a way that like they're doing an exchange, but the other person doesn't really have much to offer in the
Yeah.
sense of even creativity. Like
Yeah.
just the collab isn't really collabing. And yeah, I can't say too much,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But it's like you have to know where your value is. You have to practice what your craft is in order to provide that value so
Yeah.
you don't end up just taking and taking and taking. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't, or maybe they do realize and they know what they're doing and they're just trying to get whatever they want out of you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
without giving anything back in
Yeah.
exchange.
And I feel like it's definitely real when you say like you have to practice. Like I think it's crazy. Like even looking back, like and I'm sure you relate. Like when you just projects in general, like generally speaking, things that you've done last year, like
Mhm.
2024. You know what I mean? Versus like the things that you're getting ready to do now. Like there's growth. You know what I mean? Even in the
Yes.
span of a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years. You know what I mean? It's like you're constantly growing and changing and the stuff that you're doing grows with you, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just beautiful to like look back and be like, damn, like, and you know what's so crazy about it is that like you look back and you're like, damn, like when I did that, I thought I was the shit. Like I thought I
Yeah.
snapped, like, but now I'm doing this shit and it's like, bro, that should look little, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling to have. Like if you're not having
Absolutely.
that feeling, like I don't think you're doing it right. Like you can, like I definitely like look at my old stuff and I'm like, I'm still proud of it, but like you can't compare it to the new things that I'm putting out and I'm
Yes.
doing. Like the quality is always improving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just the goal.
Have you ever had an opposite experience that it's not even about the quality or what you did,
Mhm.
but have you ever like done a project where in the moment maybe you weren't really feeling yourself, maybe you just were like,
Mhm.
whatever. And then you look back and then you're like, I fucking snapped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%. Like old EPs and I was just talking to the homie about this, and it's like it comes in waves. Like sometimes I listen
Mhm.
to it and I'll be like, oh my God, like what was I on? And then other times I listen to it and I'll be like, oh, okay, like
I was
it's
kind of
good,
up to something.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. It's like it's I feel like like you're listening to it or like you're perceiving it, you know what I mean? Like not even just music, but like art in general. Like you're perceiving
Yeah.
it from different mindsets at different times, you know what I mean? So you could look at the same piece of work that you've made and depending on your mood or recent events, like
Yes.
you'll look at it and be like, "Oh, this is great." And then the other day you'll be like, "Oh, this is horrible." You know what I mean? And that's why I don't really like to private anything or like
Mm.
remove anything unless I genuinely know like this does not represent me at all anymore. Then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like it's cut, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of like super old songs like on my SoundCloud that like most people would be like, oh, like this, like I have to private. Like, no, like it's up, you know what I mean? Cause like, and I think it's beautiful because it shows the growth. It shows like this
Yes.
is where I started and like this is what I can do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I've always liked about music in general. Like whenever I found an artist that I really liked, I would always go back. I would be like, where did you come from? You know what I mean? And like just
Yes.
like that like discovery of like where they started to like where they are now. It's just like that's dope. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I don't try to hide what I used to do
Yeah.
unless it's like really like bro, like there's some songs where I listen to like I was just out of key. Like the song is in one key and the auto tune is in it. It just sounds so bad, and I don't know how I didn't hear it back then. But that just goes to show you like your perception changes. It gets more sharp. You know what I mean? So like
Absolutely.
the mistakes that you were letting pass like back in the day, you don't let them fly now. You know what I mean? It's and that's all it is. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
getting better.
I actually had a recent experience like that. It's a bit different, but there was this book that I got
Mhm.
in like ninth grade, and it's about quantum physics. I know it sounds insane. It's like it's like a past life regression. Have you heard of past life regressions?
No.
Okay, so it's like a look into past lives. It's a whole hypnosis situation. Look at it on your own time.
Okay.
But it's like a book where there's a woman who does these past life regressions, channels like a certain being through someone who goes to get the hypnosis done.
Mhm.
The woman's name is Dolores Cannon, right? Some people
Okay.
have said like she's a fraud, some people believe in it. Like I don't know, it's like
Okay.
it's a whole debate, right? But she has this book and it's a whole past life regression. So like the book is kind of told like what she's saying and then what she's hearing from the person who's like recounting these stories.
Mhm.
And but there's like parts in the book that I remember trying to read when I was younger and I just was like, what the fuck is she saying? Like I literally just couldn't understand the book at
Yeah.
all, right? And then years passed, like let's say at this point maybe I was a senior
Mhm.
and I find the book again and I'm reading it and I was like, where did I have trouble? Like
Yeah.
what was I not getting at the time? Like this is like simple fucking math
Yeah.
basically. And I just found the book again. I still haven't finished. It's a pretty thick book.
Mhm.
So I just found it again. I'm like, I'm going to reread it now. And I wonder if I'll pick up something new. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of how art works too. Like
Yeah.
there's at times where you're just like, this is just genuinely not registering.
Mhm.
And it just takes some time to be a little bit more seasoned for you to grasp what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
100%. And I feel like that's the root of like that just like stems in opinion. Like, you know what I mean? And that's exactly why like your music taste and my music taste can never be the same. Or like your
Mhm.
taste in photography or your taste in film, like because it's all based on like everybody, in my opinion, it's all based on everybody's past experiences and the things that
Absolutely.
they've grown to like and dislike. You know what I mean? Like if I don't like apples and you show me a movie about apples, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you love apples. You know what I mean? So that like that's why I think it's so interesting how like just in like authenticity, and I feel like that's another reason why like authenticity is like a big thing that
Mm-hmm.
people like strive to push now is because like people realize that like there is no like weird. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yes.
there's no like you're never too far out. Like until you're too far out. But like you're like people are so in 2025, like people are so much more open, people are so
Yeah.
much more accepting. It's like go do you to the fullest extent and you can build a community of people that support you for you being you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like and in myself personally, I used to like have kind of like these crises because I felt like I was doing too much at one point. Like I'm making music, I'm modeling, photography, creative direction, and it's like fuck, like what am I? What do I want to do? But then I realized it's like I want to do it all. You know what I mean? Like like anything
Yeah.
that I see that interests me, I could become an architect tomorrow
Yeah.
if I felt like it. You know what I mean? Because it's like it interests me, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
I want to challenge myself to do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna present it, and I'm gonna present it and show it under Young Muji. You know what I mean? Whether it's music, photography, videography, and I want it all to represent me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think our society is very strict on like pushing that
yeah,
one thing. But I really believe in just self discovery,
mhm,
however you can, wherever you can.
100%.
Just you have to try things.
Yeah,
Like later down the line, you will find your one path, and then that one path might end and you'll find a new one. Like there's
yeah,
always room for shift and change. But I think that part of society that thinks in such a like flat way, I'll
yeah,
put it that way, or like in such a boxy way, I think that's what fucks a lot of people up because we simply are just not the same. That
yeah,
that one path might work for someone. Like someone might genuinely find joy from like going to school, going to college, getting their job,
yeah,
getting their dream car, getting married, having kids
mhm,
in their home that they bought. And like that's so the path for some people. And
yeah,
they're genuinely like soaking in absolute gratitude and love for it. But there's for some people, it's just the opposite. Like
yeah.
there is such a spectrum, and you have to try a whole load of different things to figure that out.
Mhm. I feel like with like I honestly like when I started making music, like it was I didn't even realize like making music was what I wanted to do. I mean, no. I didn't even realize being a creative was what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The first song I ever put out, I put it out as a joke. Like I recorded it on my iPhone, like with my homie, and we just picked two random ass names, and we were like, oh yeah, like we just put it out. And then like I was just watching like the number go up on SoundCloud, and I was like, okay, like you know what I mean, like shit going up. And then I put out the next song. And then a couple weeks later, I put out the next song. And then like a couple months later, when I realized that I put out like months worth of music, I'm like, oh wait, like this is what I want to do. Like this is what I
Yes.
find joy doing. You know what I mean? And then making music turned into photography. It turned into modeling. It turns into, and then it's like I'm not gonna neglect the creative growth. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be like, oh no, but like making music is the only thing I can do because that's the image I made for myself. Like no, like I made the image of a creative. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So whatever I want to do, you know what I mean? Whether it be film design. Oh, I'm gonna get into clothing design soon. Like,
Okay.
but it's like and that's another thing about me. It's like I'm a perfectionist in the way where like it has to look the exact like I don't settle. Like I'm not gonna be like,
Mhm.
oh, instead of this design that I really want to create that's in my brain, I'm gonna settle for a t-shirt with my logo on it because that's all I can do right now. Like, no, like I'm gonna aim for exactly what's in my head. So
Yes.
although like it takes a long time for me to get the ball rolling, but when it does, it's rolling at the exact, like it's very calculated. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So yeah, like, but I just like, and that's my biggest fear is that I hope like niggas gonna look at me and be like, yo, like this nigga need to relax. Like he's doing too fucking much. But it's like, bro, like you don't get it. You don't get it. Like I have to do it. You know what I mean? Like I've had these
Yes.
like clothing designs in my mind for so fucking long, and I know what I need. It's just gonna take, like, I need to designate a whole like 48-hour period to like make one piece and then shoot it. And then niggas will go know what I'm fucking on. But
Yeah.
until then, it's a thought. You know what I mean? And I have
Yeah.
written down sketches like, it's being perfected, and then when it
Yes.
is, that's when I'm gonna execute it.
And what is your inspiration behind a clothing brand?
I feel like
Mhm.
TikTok allowed a lot of people to get away with a lot of crazy activities when it comes to having a clothing brand.
Do you
No, because like we should not be making the same hoodie over and over and over again. We should not be making
real.
the same pair of sweats over and over and over again. It gets to a point where like you can't look and see that this has been done 8,000 million gazillion times before. Like, and I'm not throwing any shade to anybody's brand because there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it right. If it works for you, do it. But for me, there's so much more like that comes to fashion than like, oh, I'm gonna screen print anything that comes to mind with some with a crosshair and some like kiss marks on a hoodie and then sell it for $80 on the TikTok shop. Like you're crazy. You're crazy. Me, when I start like making designs, I'm gonna start making like one of one hand sewn, like
Okay.
if you like, and I'm a and this is the beauty of being multifaceted. Like
Yes.
you get to do shit yourself. So whenever I do make that design, I get to creative direct and photograph a shoot for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get to cast the model for it. I get to, so building up these skills isn't for nothing. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
they fall in line with everything else. You know what I mean? If I want to shoot a video, a promotional video, I can make the music for it. You know what I mean? Like it just,
Yes.
there's, oh, and I know how to use multiple editing softwares as well. So like all these skills that are being built up, it's not for no reason. It's not just to say like, oh, I know how to do this, but like I'm helping myself out. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
saving myself money. I'm saving myself time. And then when you know how to do it yourself, you get to execute visions way more precisely than if I had to give content to an editor and be like, yo, edit this to look like this. I can only explain it so precisely and they can
Yeah.
only like read what I'm giving them so well but it'll never be the exact same versus you sitting there doing it yourself and you seeing the slight imperfections in it and fixing it on the
Yeah.
go. Like, I love it.
That's the beauty of like range. Cause there's some people that their talent is delegation, like
Mhm.
being able to be like, you do this, you do that, you do this.
Yeah.
And then there's people like you who are like, I genuinely find joy in doing all of the things.
Yeah.
And neither is right nor wrong. It's just your own humanly process, you know? And I think the beauty of having that range is that I'm all for like inspiring the youth.
Mhm.
Like that is like so important for me because I feel like sometimes the youth isn't seeing like their own background, like their own processes highlighted, you know? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just get a very particular story of success and what it looks like and how to get there. But
Mhm.
like there really are a million ways to be successful, and success looks so different for everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's why I really am so like pro content, pro telling your story,
Mm-hmm.
because it might just reach, it might not even be a kid. It might be someone your age. It might be someone older than you
Yeah.
that looks at it and is like, oh my God, like I don't feel alone anymore. Like I get exactly what they're saying. And like
Mm.
they're so excited about their process. Like, how can I become excited about mine? And I think that's so important.
100%. I think that's the beauty of it. Like just being out here, like meeting like-minded people that are like hell bent on their creative path, you know what I mean,
Yes.
and doing their own shit. Like it's inspiring to see like some people that'll sit down and like not sleep for fucking like days and just grind it out. It's like, oh my God, like it's beautiful. Like I remember when I was kicking it in West Hollywood with the homie Cole,
Mhm.
and he's a designer, and I've literally never seen somebody like and I have like designer homies, but I've just never seen somebody sit at a fucking sewing machine as much as he does. Like, she
Yeah.
just sits there and sews and sews and sews. And I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and I walk downstairs and he's sewing and sewing and sewing. And I'm just like, bro, like, do you ever get bored of it? Because me, like, I could shoot, I could be editing pictures and then I'm be like, bro, like, okay, like, I got to do something else. You know what I mean? Or like modeling, like, it hits to a point, like, on set, like, it's an 8-hour set. And then on hour 5, I'm like, all right, nah, bro, like, niggas want to go home. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's to a point, but this nigga's just going and going. And I'm like, it's inspiring. You know what I mean? Now I want to sit down. I'm like, bro, like, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like, it's dope. It's super, super cool. Like, people's processes are definitely like inspiring because everybody approaches shit differently. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and it's interesting to see how people approach shit and then what you can take from them and implement yourself.
Yeah, and this might sound like so cliche, so corny, but as long as you do not give up, your time comes. Like when it's your time to fucking shine,
Mhm,
it's your time to shine.
mhm.
And sometimes you might shine and then after that you got some down days or
Yeah.
some down periods and seasons, but it really is all about perspective because is it really a bad season? Is it really a down season? Or are you just learning things from a different perspective, from a different mental shift, you know?
100%. I was just talking to the homie Lalo about this. I was like, yo, some months, like, and this is just like, no, not even. This is everything. You know what I mean? Because being a creative for me, it's multiple different things. And some months I'll make $0 like off of the
Yeah.
creativity. You know what I mean? I still work a 9 to 5, but
Yes.
off of the shit that I want to do, some months I'll make $0. You know what I mean? And I gotta still go and do test shoots and keep on like keep that fire burning in myself. You know what I mean? There's some people that'll see that and hang up the towel. You know what I mean? Like, no, because there's some months where I fucking make the most money I've ever made out of all the fucking months doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
Yes.
and it's that it's like it's up and down. You know what I mean? It's like a fucking roller coaster. It's like if like when it goes down, it has to go up, but when it goes up, it has to go down at some point. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's just like you measuring that and seeing how far up you can go and know how to like keep your lows up. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
mentally at least. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, fuck, like ain't shit hitting. You know what I mean? I'm submitting to castings, nobody want to fuck with me. You know what I mean? No castings even apply to me. Like it's insane. And then there's other months where I feel like back to back to back, every day it's just some new shit, some new shit, some new shit. And I'm like, and me, I'm the type of person where like the moment an opportunity is presented to me, I'm taking it. Like there's
Yes.
no point in wasting time. Like, oh, I gotta think about it. Oh, I have this to do. This. No, like if I can be there and I'm there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because this is what the fuck I'm out here to do. Like I'm not out here to play and sleep and smoke weed. Like that's all fun. Like that's all fun. But I'm not. I have a bigger goal in mind. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Something that I love to ask my guest is what are some of your favorite restaurants in LA?
Favorite restaurants in LA.
Or even quick food spots? Like what is your favorite out here?
Oh, hold on. I gotta take this. Hold on.
Take your sip, take your sip.
Two of my favorite food spots in LA. They're both like cafe vibes. The first
Love
one is
cafes.
Maggie's Donuts in Hollywood. It's
Okay.
on Santa Monica and Las Palmas.
Okay.
And that spot, best fucking breakfast sandwiches. I'll be
Maggie's
getting
Donuts?
Maggie's Donuts.
She has donuts?
She has it's like she has donuts for sure, but it's like also like I don't normally go for the donuts, so I
Yeah.
get the bagels. I be getting the
Okay.
sausage, egg, and cheese with mayo and potatoes and jalapenos if I'm feeling spicy that day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I go there damn near every morning, like on the mornings I work, because I work the graveyard shift.
Okay.
So when I get off, well, not when I sometimes when I get off, sometimes on shift, because they open like dumb early.
Yeah.
I'll go in there, I'll say what's up to them, I'll get my little food, and oh my God, and they're Thai tea. Thai tea is one of my favorite beverages on planet Earth.
I
Like
love
I
Thai
could
tea.
drink Thai tea by the fucking gallon, bro. I love Thai tea. But the second spot is, oh my God, I can't remember the spot. I can't remember the spot. Hold on. It's on Temple Street. It's another bakery, cafe.
Okay.
K Bakery. It's called K Bakery.
K Baker. Haven't been to
K
either of
Bakery.
those. We gotta go try
K
them.
Bakery's dumb close to both of us. So one
Okay.
day we could pull up. K
Yes.
Bakery has great Thai tea, and their large is literally like this big and this tall. Like it's crazy. So I be getting a large Thai tea, and then they just have a lot of like Mexican, like it's like Hispanic
Okay.
like breakfast foods and shit like that.
Yeah.
So me and the homies go there all the time and just like kick it. And then it's just a nice vibe. You know what I mean? They have like
Fire.
fresh juices and shit like that. But that's my like, if I have to say like there's a cuisine I really like breakfast food.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a breakfast girl too. There's actually have you been to Guerrilla Cafe?
Where?
Like Okay, in Spanish it's
Guerrilla?
pronounced guerrilla.
Okay,
Like
okay. No. Yeah. I
you know
got you. I
which one
got
I'm
you.
talking about?
No, I don't. But I know what like the word
They're
guerrilla. Yeah.
closing down this month. Like it's over
Oh,
with. They also have a taco place like right next to them. But if you like breakfast, I really recommend it. You got like 10 more days. They close at the end of the month.
That's hell, yo.
I'm so
Is
sad
it
about it.
downtown?
It's in downtown. It's like, I think it's like Arts District. It's kind of near here. Are we? No, this isn't Arts District. It's
like
not an
turn
Arts
on.
District.
This
Yeah.
turn on. Oh my god.
Yeah, that place is not an Arts District because it's over
Yeah.
here. Why does this feel like artsy though? In a
I mean,
different font.
yeah, and a different font. I thought it was crazy. Like outside, it looked really like industrial. I was like,
Yeah.
like
You're like, am I getting kidnapped?
type shit.
I
I was lost. Oh my god, let me tell you about me getting here. I was lost. I was because
Okay.
there was a black gate and the fucking sign, and I was
sent
like,
you detailed instructions.
yeah, and I didn't read. I had to like reread the instructions 95 times before I got it, and then I was like, oh okay, I go through here. Yeah, but it was hard. It was hard.
It's
But
hard.
I made it here.
You did make it, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
I really do have an appreciation for multifaceted creatives
Mhm.
because like I feel like I wish I had like 8 fucking arms to do so many things
Yeah.
at once, and like I appreciate the grind and the hustle and just like how it goes.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we gotta get you on, and I gotta meet you here. And I think what's really interesting is like I always think of common characters in my life. Like I met you when I had a creative studio.
Yeah. That's so fucking crazy. Do you remember Slug?
Yes.
First, okay.
I
I was telling
do.
Slug, I was like, yo, Slug, like, I'm going on a podcast today, like Dre's the host. He's like, Dre. Oh, Dre. And I was like, yeah, from
Yes.
fucking
New
what was
Flow.
it? New Flow. Yeah, that's
New
a
Flow.
crazy arc. Yeah, that's
That
a
was
crazy
an
arc.
era. I
Yeah.
actually Jared was on the podcast earlier and I met Jared there too. And it was funny because we like started on such a like business standpoint
Yeah.
and now we're here.
That's dope.
But now it's crazy where life leads you because even that venture was so random. Like
Yeah.
one of my friends was like, I had been saying like I wanted a creative studio.
Mhm.
You met Byro, right? Did you ever meet Byro?
The name sounds very
She
familiar.
was like in and out of it, but like basically we team up along with another friend. We get that going,
Mhm.
and like we were there for 6 months.
In the studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had that place for 6 months, which was a crazy 6 months. I mean, we threw a fucking insane fashion show.
Yeah.
Like the line
By
was
Lucky,
wrapped
no?
around. Oh, Lucky was another.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the hot model sex one. You remember that
I
one?
forgot that y'all even did that shit, bro. I was at work. standing on the roof, looking at the fucking line, and I was like, bro, I'm so pissed. I was so mad.
Yeah. That we reached in like max capacity.
That's
But even that, like it came out of nowhere. It was so successful. And when the time was done, it was done. Like they basically didn't want to release to us. I think we were too lit.
too lit.
And we were too lit. So context. We were on a studio lot that literally had like The Weeknd on it, Jenna Ortega. They were filming like huge music videos and TV shows on the Las Palmas lot, you know?
Yeah. The Sunset Studios.
Yes, the Sunset Studios. So it's like all of these private studios. We're the only people there. Well, actually, and our neighbors too. They were like, they were like an agency, I guess you can say, and they would film like big YouTube videos in there or whatever. But we were kind of the only like people separate from the actual film studio.
Yeah.
And like we had our run, but I feel like the people who owned it were just like, y'all are getting out of fucking hand. And yeah, we had good days, we had bad days, and it just kind of all came to an end really quickly. But I don't know, things just always continue to align. Like I was sad about that closing, but then like life just got even better after.
That's how
And,
that shit
like
goes,
that's really how it goes. So like genuinely for anybody who's having like a dark ass time in their life, the light really does shine at one point. Like you got to see your darkest hours before. Like my 2024 was the best year I've had in fucking ages. Like
That's beautiful.
since high school, college, like my 2024 was like my best year ever.
Yeah.
Just like in general. And like there's always something that needs work. Like life isn't always going to be hypothetically perfect. Like there's always something to work on and something to do. But I don't know, like we made it through, and like I feel like I've genuinely been like on a roll. And again, there's things that I need to like pour into and grow and make that work. But previous to that, I thought I had like a fucking curse. But
Shit.
but something about me is that in the back of my mind, I just am always like, things are good.
Yeah.
Like even when things are so bad, I'm
So
like,
bad.
it's good.
That's
Like
that's
I'm good.
exactly how I walk around and think too, honestly. Like shit could be crumbling around me, like the walls. And I'll be like, yo, like it'll get better. Cause it always does get
It
better.
really
Like
does.
whenever and whenever it is better, I kind of like think I'm like, yo, like niggas used to be fucked up, but now I'm less fucked up. You know what I mean? And then in the future, I'm gonna be even less fucked up. And that's just like the
Absolutely.
goal, to keep on getting less fucked up until you're
Yes.
in your desired state. You know what I mean? And then like
Yeah.
fucked up looks different for different people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh my, like that taught me like comparison. Like I used to compare myself to people all the fucking time. Like, and I still, it's just natural. You know what I mean? I still do,
Yeah.
like seeing people like, especially with the like the culture of social media and shit like that. Like everybody's posting their own shit. You know what I mean? Like it's cool and it's dope. Like, and I support it. But like a lot of times I'd be like, damn, like, bro, I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I forgot who was like, somebody was doing some Rolling Loud shit and they were casting for it. Bro, I didn't get hit back for it. And I saw like afterwards, like I saw like, you know, people are posting like the shit they did. They casted every single homie. Every single homie. And niggas just had to sit home and watch that shit. I was sick. I was so sick. But I was happy that my homies got that opportunity. But I was like, fuck, like, where was
Yeah.
I? You know what I mean? But it's like not every opportunity is for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then it's like, people are exactly like you said, people are doing this shit at different rates. You know what I mean? Success looks different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm still very young and I feel like I always overlook that. You know what I mean? Like I'm always
Oh my
comparing
God, you
myself
are
to-
so young. I genuinely forget. Tell the people the age.
I just turned 21.
Yeah,
I turned
like,
21 last month.
Yes,
Late last month.
literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so much life. I think even just I'm 24 for reference. I'm fucking 24. Like
24
hello.
is the thing, yo. 24 is the thing.
In the grand scheme of things, no, but I turned 25 this year. 25, like that's a serious number.
It is.
25 is deep.
25 is crazy. Are you doing anything crazy to celebrate?
I'll like cross that bridge when I get there,
Bro.
just because it's until October. So like we'll get there, but now things definitely look different for me. Like I probably will want to like go on a really cool like travel spree. Like I've always wanted to go like to Japan or Korea or like
That's
maybe
so
Greece. Like
crazy.
I would want to do like a really nice trip like that.
That's dope. I was literally just talking with the homie about like Japan is first on my list. Like as in like non-domestic like travel.
Yes.
I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan so fucking bad.
Yeah.
But I just want to like move around like different like countries and shit because like I've recently been getting into like street photography and I think it's
Okay.
like super beautiful. Like especially like
Yes.
street photography like outside of the United States. Like that shit's beautiful.
If you ever want to do street photography in Mexico, we could like set something up and you can come
Bro,
with me.
yeah.
That'd be
What the
fun.
fuck?
I'm like kind
My
of deep in
passport's
Mexico.
expired though. My passport's expired. I do need to get that renewed.
Yeah,
Oh,
get that renewed.
it was like, oh, like once you hit a certain age, like you're not able to renew it. Like, cause the last time I got my passport, I was like 15 or 16.
I know that picture's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is. It is. So when I went to like when it expired, I was like, okay, I need to renew it. And
Yes.
then they were like, no, you can't renew it. You have to file for a whole new one because you were 15. It's some weird like policy that they have, but I have to go and get a whole new passport.
There's certain things that I just doesn't matter how old I get, how many times I do it. I'm just like, bro, the adulting is adulting. Like I had to pay my car tax the other day. And I'm like, ugh, like getting on the DMV website, like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I could do it from the comfort of my own home because I remember being young and having to go to the DMV with my mom so she could like do this, that, and the fourth.
Yeah.
So shout out the digital space.
Yeah.
But like it's funny because I got the tags in the mail and I just sat on them like I've had them for a month and I just paid them yesterday. And it's just certain things are just so agonizing. I'm
So
like, what do you
agonizing.
mean car tags and paying the credit card bill? Like
It's a lot. It's a lot. Luckily, I don't even have a car yet. At least not out here.
yes.
Like I have to get my California license first, and I just got like the necessary paperwork to do that. I've just been lazy making the appointment to go to the DMV because that's adult shit, and I'm not like I have to do it soon though because once I do, then I'll go and get a car, and then I'll be able to stop taking the bus and Ubering. But bro, Uber be eating at my pockets, bro. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I Uber everywhere.
Where are you originally from?
I was born in New York. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but I was raised in Tampa, Florida.
Okay. Still 2 major, like, cities,
Mhm.
you know, and now you're out here.
Yeah.
You're like your city life, like, it makes sense.
I mean, okay, I wasn't in New York too long before I moved to
Okay.
Florida, but I would visit really often. And like, that's what made me like really realize, like, oh, I love being in the city because where I stayed in Tampa, it's not even really Tampa, it's Riverview.
Mhm.
And it's really suburban. You know what I mean? It's really, there's no like big buildings, skyscrapers, like, there's none of that. It's like fucking home. What do they call it when like all the homes sit in one little area? Like, not neighborhoods. There's another word. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of plazas. There's a lot of plazas, you know what I mean? But like, I was just like, damn, like I want to live in a city. And then when I turned 18, I was like, I either move back to New York
Mhm.
or I go to LA. And I chose LA because I had never been to LA before. So I was
Okay.
like, I want to see what that's like.
And are you happy with your choice?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100. But Fashion Week, like that'll, especially that time in New York, like when everybody's outside and everybody's trying to like, it'll make you think like, damn, bro, I gotta move to New York. And
No,
that's
New
that's
York
my
is
next destination.
amazing.
Like whenever like I feel like LA gets burnt out, and I feel like I just turned 21. I just like
Yes.
got the ability to go into places and you know what I mean? So like I have a lot more LA life in me, but once that like gets to the end, then I'm gonna move to New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think your settle down place would be?
Japan.
Japan?
I feel like when I'm an old man and I'm ready to just sit around and like drink matcha and call my grandkid, you know what I mean? Like when I'm ready to just do my mundane life shit, I want to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm manifesting a life for myself where I get to have homes in multiple different
Yes.
places and I get to move around a lot. But where has my like heart the most is Japan. I've never been there before, but from everything I've seen, seems like a great place, and I would love to
I
go.
feel like when you have a calling to a certain destination, like it's deeper than just like, oh, I want to go there. Like
Yeah.
when you really feel called, it's for a reason. I've heard that like there's this thing called astrocartography, and it has to do, it kind of like blends astrology and like all of these things, and it tells you like where in the world you would thrive.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if like you looked at your whole thing and like
Astrocartography.
astrocartography. I think you could like get it done online. I've never done it,
Yeah.
but like same
I'ma
thing.
look
Like you
into it.
implement your birthday, you do the whole hurrah, kind of like a birth chart situation. And then
hurrah.
the whole hurrah, and then you get to find out where you'd thrive.
That's real. That's
Yeah.
real. Are you like big into astrology?
Not
What's your zodiac sign?
guess.
Okay.
Or are you
I'm
not
asking.
good at
No, no,
this
no,
at all?
I'm not good at this at all, but I'm really down to guess. Oh, you said October.
You kind of got a mini Chico.
Libra?
Yes.
Are you
I am a
serious?
Libra, yes.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's
He's
crazy.
better than we thought, guys.
All right, guess my.
Okay. Okay. Oh, are you a Capricorn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of went based off you said your birthday was last
Last month.
You're at the end
December.
of December.
End of December. Yeah.
I wouldn't take you for like a Sagittarius if that means anything to you, but I would take you for more of a Capricorn.
From what I know, people say like Sagittarii. I don't know. Multiple people, Sagittarius people are like feisty. Like they're really they're strict.
Yeah, I've had terrible experiences
Mhm.
with Sagittarius, but Jared's a Sag and we get along
Yeah.
amazing.
And you
We're
know
like
what?
the most compatible
I
ever.
think that's so crazy about like zodiac signs because there's some people that'll literally write you off based on your zodiac sign. Like, oh, I'm not not dealing with you at all because you're a Capricorn. And I feel like Capricorns get it a lot. Like, I don't know
I've
why.
had terrible experiences with the Capricorns, but it's deeper than just your sun sign. Like there's so much more that goes. I also think it is not fair for someone to be like, you're a Capricorn, I can't fuck with you. Like,
Yeah.
where is the moon at? Where is the Venus at? Where is, you know what I mean? Where's the rising? Like you got to know all of these other aspects to really come out with like a whole, to really be able to read somebody.
Mhm.
I haven't exercised the gift for that because it's just like, it's really just pattern recognition. So it's studying the patterns, and I'll just Google it. Like
That's
I'll
my
be
thing,
like, what does this
there's
mean?
people that are like, oh, I don't like Libras because I've had a past with Libras. Like me personally, you're gonna tell me you're a Libra right now, and then I'm gonna forget. So no matter if I have a great experience with you or a bad experience with you, like I can't go and meet the next person and them tell me that they're a Libra and me be like, ooh, I remember that she was a Libra and she did me wrong. Like, no, like I'm just gonna be like, okay, like you're a fucking Libra. Like I feel like it's so much, it's so much deeper than just like your sun sign, like you said. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that's how I feel about it. But it does, like, when you start to delve in, you realize how like mapped out your life is, kind of,
Yeah.
in the sense of like astrology doesn't mean this is what's going to happen to your life. It's more like when you were born, the planets were in certain places, and it happens to be that when people have the planets in these places, these are certain topics that are strong in your life. You know,
Yeah.
like some people, it'll be like maybe like mommy issue vibes, or like or like
Yeah.
you love in a certain type of way, or you
Mhm.
present yourself in a certain type of way. Like, I'm a Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is deemed the planet of love and beauty.
Okay.
So very much like aesthetics driven, which
Yeah.
I would say is true.
Yeah.
Very much like loves love, like things of that nature. And then like again, it gets deeper than that.
And a lot of times I'll like read about like zodiac signs and shit, especially like because I only read about Capricorns because that's all I give a fuck about. And
That's very Capricorn of you.
literally, like, and I was just getting ready to say, like, that's some Capricorn ass shit. Like, literally, like, a lot of the shit I'll read, I'll be like, damn, like, this kind of applies to me. Like,
Yeah.
they said that they're very, like, not control freaks, but they're very, like, and that like ties back into me saying like I'm a perfectionist. You know what I mean? Like, shit has to be the way I want it to be. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? At least for my bodies of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting how like the shit I read about Capricorns ties into my subconscious like habits.
Yes, yes. And that's so real. Like you mentioning subconscious habits. It's like your astrological sign is not telling you this is who you are, it's the end all be all. It's
Yeah.
you might have these tendencies,
Yeah.
like do with that what you will.
Yeah.
Like work on them or don't, or but these are the patterns here.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting to see.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on the
Thank you
podcast.
so much for having
I
me,
think
dog.
everyone just has such a great experience to share. I hope someone watches, resonates, feels something.
Yeah.
You want to let the people know where they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Yung Muji, YUNGMUJII, or you can go to my website, youngmuji.com, YUNGMUJI.com.
Okay.com.
And then, you know what I mean, if you really give a fuck, like from those two things, you can find me on everything else.
There you go.
Yeah.
He shot this birthday video of mine, and
Oh my God.
one of my favorite
No.
projects.
You want to know what really broke my heart? You want to know what really broke my heart? And it's nothing against you because it's real, but it's, you know what I mean? It's your birthday video. Like you want it however you want it. When you wanted it shorter, like from the original, like long video I sent you, I was like, fuck. I just love that video so
But
much.
you can post the long one. You could
You're
throw
right,
it on
you're
your website. You could let people
right,
see it.
you're
But
right.
yeah, nothing is ever a loss, you know?
Yeah.
I just had to condense it for
Yeah, it was like 10 years long. It was
But
OD.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
being
much
on
for
here.
having me,
Thank
dog.
you guys so much for watching. This was the Playroom podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Dre Goldie. See you guys next time.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
The Playroom Podcast. Don't panic, it's organic.